Digital ladies breaking the chain, rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your crypto, know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa, Keda, LadyK, and Adena, come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pay.
Crypto nights, we're lighting the spark. As we ignite now, we're setting the mark.
Safety first, we're keeping it tight. Blockchain power, we're shining the light. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa, Keda, LadyK, and Adena, come ride this wave.
Welcome to Digital Ladies Unscripted. How you doing this evening, ladies?
Doing great. And you?
Excellent.
Hi, fantastic. Oh yeah, that's it. This has been a crazy week so far. And you know, there's been a lot of back and forth going on X in particular, what they call crypto Twitter. There's a lot of excitement surrounding Ripple Swell, and those of us that are XRP holders and XRP ledger enthusiasts. In fact, our very own LadyK is in New York City right now, and Miss Keda, you're going to be leaving for New York tomorrow morning, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be on hopefully as long as the TSA decides they want to work. I should be leaving out tomorrow morning pretty early to get to town, hopefully by, early to mid-afternoon. So it'll be a good look. I'm excited.
Yeah, very cool.
Small stomping grounds,
I wanted to go so bad. I was going to try to go because, as many of you know, Ripple is throwing a free party for anybody that's interested in XRP and the XRP ledger. And so even though you're not able to go to the actual Swell event, they did want to throw a nice party for all of the people that's been supporting them for all these years. And so it would have been really nice to go, but I'm certainly happy that my girls are going. And so me and Amanda will be rooting you guys. And I guess Stone's going to be there too. And James Rule and, all the cool kids are going to be in New York City this week for Ripple Swell. And so tonight I came across the post the other day and it really intrigued me. And it wasn't a standalone like hype type of post. It was a direct reply from Luke Chambers to Ripple's announcement of their Swell event that they have going on. And it was referring to its powerhouse speaker lineup that there's going to be TradFi staples like Nasdaq CEO Adena Friedman's going to be there, BlackRock's Maxwell Stein, Citi's Ryan Rugg, and Fidelity's Cynthia Bessette. But Chambers' comment really stood out to me because it really seemed to underscore the subtle seismic shift that Swell's agenda isn't just talk. It looks like a roadmap that's signaling explosive XRP ledger growth in 2026, at least for me. And I know many of us are aware of like all of the recent acquisitions and institutional integrations that happened in 2025. But the more that I dug into it, the more intrigued I was. When I looked at the lineup, I got super excited because to me, the lineup tells a story, doesn't it? It seems
it's a who's who of everybody. I mean, my goodness, it's across the board. Like I literally just interacted with a post from Dom and the Easy A brothers.
Dom and Phil Kwok.
Dom and Phil, right? And they're on top of a building talking about this, on top of the lineup that we're talking about for the next couple of days. This is major.
It is major. And I mean, so basically, I came across the post that was referring to Ripple's announcement of, all the people that were going to be at Swell. And, it was just like a one-liner, like, now imagine what the 2026 project pipeline looks like. And I'm like, oh, really? It felt to me like he was teasing a pipeline of projects that are coming down the pipe that could unlock trillions of dollars in on-chain value that would leverage the XRP for real-time settlements, real-world assets, treasury operations. So I'm thinking, what do we want to talk about on Digital Ladies on Monday? And when I came across that post, I said, this has got to be it. I thought we'd pull the curtain back on the Ripple Swell event. And it's in New York City. It's starting tomorrow. And while we're not experts in this finance world, like we're just XRP holders and XRP Ledger supporters. And so I really wanted to approach this discussion from kind of a spectator vibe on what it actually could mean for our XRP holdings. But I thought we would talk about the 2025 mergers and acquisitions, then maybe go over the lineup of all the people that are going to be there, and then finally touch on the projects that are kind of been announced for going into 2026. So what do you guys think about that?
I think that'll work. I think that'll be good.
Yeah. I do want to say hello to the 59 people that are in the house this evening. Who do we got in here, Keda?
Oh my goodness. We have a line up all the way up and down the chat. Everyone from Island Goes Stephanie. We have Mr. Zam in the house, always coming out to support us in such a big way. Nina Blossom is in the house. Connie Evans is here. DJ Jazzy XRP. Now that's a first for me. I've not seen that name, but thank you for being here. I almost wanted to say, are you DJ Jazzy Jeff from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince? And I just didn't know about it. And let's see. Awesome. Amy is here. Corizi is here. Corn is here. I'm telling you. And our first person in the house, as always, was Silver Days.
Man, we love you, Silver Days.
I love him.
You're the awesome.
Yes. So we have, and also Ms. Ellis is here as well. So thank you all for being here. I'm sure we're getting in more folks. And we also got this super sticker from Miss Tangi, Crypto Glamma TT.
Crypto Glamma. We love you. We love you, girl. I gotta look for this.
Oh, and Big Bro. Oh, Big Bro is here. And
Big Bro
Peter,
10.
Cabbage Eater. Oh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
We got all the OGs in the house this evening. You guys, if you're watching on, so we're streaming live on X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, live on IMUTV.tv out into 30 countries. If you wouldn't mind to go over to the YouTube, we're streaming live on the Dip a Toe channel at Dip a Toe, and subscribe to the channel and join us in the live chat. We'll be able to see your questions and comments a lot easier in that YouTube chat. And if you do have any questions, maybe put them all in caps so that we can find them easier. And of course, like, share, and subscribe this out, to the world, so we can get more folks in here. But yeah, so what are you thinking about this? Just before we even start talking about it, Amanda, what are you thinking about just the prospects of this lineup that's in Ripple Swell, and just even some of our friends being able to go to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super bummed I'm not there. I'm not going to be there, obviously, but I applied because I thought if I got into Swell, then I would have to make it happen, sort of like it happened with the Easy A thing, where it was like up in the air, but I'm not going for a party. So, I was like, that was sort of the defining factor. Honestly, I'm sort of glad I'm not there because it's super intimidating, and really glad that somebody like James Rule is there, and super cool that he was on just last week on the Dip a Toe show. So like
He was.
yeah, so I saw his post with Dom and Phil today, and so that's really cool because at least, we're 2 degrees of separation now away from it all. Because, we knew, like, at least for me, this has sort of been the hope the whole time, is what we anticipated is these organizations getting involved. But as a truther, it's also very terrifying. So it's like this sort of mixed ball of, hoping that, these representatives are good, authentic people. And I mean, the more you know, right? Ultimately, that's it. And we, at least for me, my opinion has been that I believe that the world is going to run off XRP, and that XRP will most likely, in my opinion, only will be the rails. So we won't necessarily be using XRP to buy things. We will be using it to buy things with the other tokens, kind of thing, and using your XRP for the transactions. The only way that's going to happen is if these companies get on board, and if these institutions, and this is where legal clarity comes in, because, as somebody who wants to be always above board, you need to know the rules. And so if there's no rules, it's hard to be above, to be on board of the rules. So with all of these things, it just for me, it feels like we were right. And also,
we always
really, well,
have.
it's sort of validating in that sense. 5 years ago when I was like on TikTok, like, hey guys, I heard about this XRP and I just don't want to lead you guys astray, but I'm pretty sure this is what they're going to use. And so that's very validating. But at the same time, we're definitely getting to that point where, like, if you're on the ledger now, you're lucky to be on the ledger, because in my, humble, non-educated opinion in financier things, I feel like it looks like, this exactly what you just said. Imagine what's going to be built on down the pipeline this year, because now if these people are on board, they're going to start hiring more developers, and with that comes more innovation, with that comes more competition. So yeah, and then with that comes more people. So,
Well,
it's
and
one of those things.
And here's the thing that's really, so, when I first when I first found XRP and XRP Ledger, and doing my research, it really spoke to me as being a freeing tool, that it was going to help the world in commerce, doing business with one another without having to have those middlemen charging all those big fees and stuff. And I saw opportunity for the world. I mean, I'm world be free, right? I want the world to be free. I want these other countries that have so much to offer not being held down, under a thumb and restricted from being able to participate in the global economy, right? And so when I looked into XRP and what it could do and what the intention of it was, I got excited. And, lots of people say, oh, you have this fantastical way of thinking and it's the banker's coin and yada, 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 all these things, right? However, and it is true, right? The traditional finance people, if you look at this list, this Ripple Swell list, these are massive players that we're going to talk about here.
Yeah.
And looking at, Ripple is a company. They are strategically playing out their map. They're
building their ecosystem. They're building their infrastructure. That's what it seems like
very strategically,
very
strategically, and according to the rules and regulations and whatever. And that's what you want, in my opinion. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that you and I, as free men and women, right, we can transact on the ledger for pennies on a dollar. We can create businesses using the ledger and all of the tools that are there available. And so, like you said, Amanda, like being able to build on it early on, dip your toes into it now, build your ecosystems out, being early adopters of the XRP ledger, or even just educating yourself about it is like super important.
It's key.
It really is.
It
And
is.
then when you see this kind of stuff going down,
Mhm.
we don't have to look at them as the competition, right?
Mhm.
But it's telling me there's these major players are getting on board, and that can only be good news for those that are already building on the ledger, in my opinion, right? And
Well,
again,
because
I'm not a financial expert. This is
right.
not financial advice. We're not trying to play like we're experts on traditional finance and all of these things, but definitely as a spectator, this raised my eyebrows. Sorry,
And the
Keda.
thing about it is I'm a person that's also building on, I'm bridging my business onto the blockchain, right? So for me, this is telling me that we are in the home stretch right now. The things that they're going to be talking about at Swell in the next 2 days, oh my goodness, this right here, all of it is game changers across the board. I'm not even really trying to get into it just yet to say what's what, but
Right?
these things that are happening are real. Like, they're all the things that you in your whatever group or whatever community you're in have been talking about. You know what I mean? I know Tease Crypto Spot has been talking about this as long as I've known him, and that's been about 4 years.
Yep.
And I know he was talking about that at least 2 years before that. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it now, we're just seeing these things play out. And it's like, okay, well, this is what we've been talking about all this time. So now we actually get to see it in play. You know what I mean? And then we also get to look at it and say, all right, you really trying to extract us now. Or because we've also seen everything that's happening around it, all of the machinations that are happening around it, so that there can be as much control by the entities in the government as possible. That's what I see. Now, I don't know if you see that way as well. I do believe that as we're early in this, and we have been early in this, we kind of have a leg up on those people that are coming into it. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say this. Ripple has been very straightforward from the beginning.
That's true.
That they weren't looking to knock the banks out of the equation,
Right.
or be like freedom fighters. But they thought the best way was to kind of align in terms of what they're building, making it easy for banks to come online with and use their tools that they've built. But the remarkable, awesome thing about this company and the builders, the people that have created the XRP ledger and all of the toolkits, is that they genuinely want you to use these tools. They're open source. They're out there available. This is much different than some of these companies. So say like in the Web 2 era, where all the stuff is kind of behind closed doors. We're just end users of the product. We have no idea. We have no control whatsoever. This is much more transparent in terms of the tools that are available for you to be out there and building. And yes, there are other blockchains too, where they have the tools available for people. And so, I don't think by any means that it's going to be one blockchain that's going to rule them all.
Absolutely.
They're all going to be interoperable. And when you start to look at the players that are here at this Swell, or just look at some of the interactions that they've had with some of these other blockchain leaders, they are playing nice together. They want it. They understand it. And I think that is absolutely key when it comes to the future. If you want to take your ball and go home, you're going to be by yourself. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just my. So
I agree. I agree. This is an ecosystem, and an ecosystem is not one chain. There's multiple chains. I mean, as we talked about Tease Crypto Spot, he had a whiteboard.
Yep.
And that whiteboard literally had laid out the entire ecosystem and how everything would interop with each other. in order to be able to run this financial system. So of course there's across the board, each one does its own thing, its own way. You know what I mean? And I think that it's great that we're learning more about these different chains. I'm not an XRP maxi, I'm a utility maxi.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, and this is the greatest opportunity for just, little guys like us, those of us that are giving it our attention, to get a leg up in the world. Whether you're building your own business on the blockchain, whether you're buying some of the coins out there that are very inexpensive at the moment right now, whatever it is, if you're dipping your toe into this, you're doing yourself a favor. If you're educating yourself in this space, giving it attention, and whether or not, say people are right that say, XRP is the banker's coin, and they're gonna turn you all into slaves, and this is what they say, like they're gonna take all the control. Well, if you really look into what it is, I don't see that. Personally, I don't see it. But even still, as an early investor in it, and I don't even like to use the word investor, an early
Adopter
of an early adopter of the XRP ledger, and thinking about what it could do for me, like the Dip a Toe show or Digital Ladies Unscripted, whether I choose to create NFTs for this kind of stuff, for marketing and those types of things, right? It's an incredible opportunity for someone like us, for people like us, the little guys, to be able to play around with this stuff and learn how to use it effectively. And even if it becomes like, oh, the public can't hold these coins anymore or whatever, right? If it explodes, like people say, and they say, oh, like retail can't hold it or whatever, which I don't think is going to happen. But if it did, all of the early adopters are going to benefit from that. So it would be like us getting involved in understanding Web 2. Or even pre-Web 2, the .com and all of that.
Or Google.
If we would have given our attention to those types of things early on, even though we didn't understand it, if we would have started educating ourselves, we would have been able to see who are the picks and shovels of the new era, like who are providing the tools for the next wave of innovation. And that's how I see this go down. And so anyway, kind of got off on a sidekick there, but I wanted to touch on Ripple's 2025 merger and acquisition activity. And as of November 3rd, to my research, Ripple has executed at least 4 major acquisitions this year, totaling over $2.45 billion in disclosed value. And so the deals focus on enhancing XRP ledger and XRP utility in institutional payments, custody, treasury management, and prime brokerage, which positions Ripple for scaled traditional finance integration. And so I have a list based on announcement dates, and some like kind of sparse details on it. But one of the big ones that we found out here in April was the Hidden Road. 1.25 billion. Hidden Road's a prime brokerage firm for multi-assets. It's a multi-asset clearinghouse with $3 trillion of annual volume. And it closed in October 2025. And now it's called Ripple Prime. And it enables XRP and their RLUSD for institutional FX and DeFi settlements and risk management. And so that was according to coinpedia.org. What are some other ones, Keda?
So there is also the Evernorth XRP Treasury. Okay. And this is with GUMI and SBI. So this is a $1 billion plus private investment vehicle. And it shows as XRPN on the Nasdaq. the largest XRP-backed treasury for DeFi, liquidity pools, and fiat ramps. Its launch is supposed to be early 2026, with XRP Impact, a 1 billion plus initial TVL, onboards enterprise XRP holdings, enabling yields and cross-border efficiency. The status of it is it's confirmed pilot, 1 billion plus XRP-backed treasury vehicle, XRPN on the Nasdaq for DeFi liquidity and fiat ramps. So, it's going to be teased. It's been teased for Swell. And this is just another thing that we have now that, aside from those ETFs going live, supposedly going live this month, I think there's so many things right now that we're now finding have been going on in the background that are now coming out, and now they have the space to talk about it on Swell. So
absolutely, there's a couple more, but Abdi, yeah. I wanted your take on this as someone. You're building on the XRP ledger with your wandering footprint and your blue umbrella token. Why does this sound important to you? And the reason I'm asking you this is I know that XRP in and of itself is a very important piece of the XRP ledger. It's what it runs on, right? So when you hear things like this hidden road and all of this money coming into the ledger potentially, what do you think that means for you as a builder on
for
the
me
ledger?
Personally, little things like we've been, because I've been building on the blockchain for 5-6 years now, it's been quite the adventure in terms of like what my mind wants the ledgers to do and what it does. And so, watching that, like thinking, so many years ago, I was so late, and now being like, okay, so apparently I'm still early. We're all still early. And there's so much. Like, one of the things I'm excited about is being able to escrow my own tokens and things like that, only comes with these institutions sort of pushing the idea and making it, figuring out the logistics. Like, one of the things I've always wanted is that as an NFT is sold, it's automatic. 1% goes in this wallet. 1%, this percent goes to the holders. This percent goes to the treasury. This percent goes to the pool. This percent goes to the future escrow. And sort of like XRP is able to release some, and then if they're not sold, put it, roll it over into the escrow. Having automation, I feels like, a lot of these institutions will allow that. We had this whole conversation today, right? The middle ground between, the good versus the evil, while walking the middle way. And, with more exposure, you find more of the people that we need to help build door number 3. So for me, it's like, just like, the friends who are like, so what do you think about Kraken? Like, when I've been talking about crypto for years, and they see now they've bombarded with advertisements, all of a sudden their conversations like, oh, maybe this crypto thing's legit. When things show up on the Nasdaq, and when things show up in terms of like your bank or trickle, whatever it looks like, whatever your sort of, niche of information is, this allows for more exposure, which hopefully allows for them to get more curious, which maybe finds them on X Spaces, showing up at the Dipito show, finding out more about what's going on with us, and maybe recognizing that, they don't have to be afraid. So, what is it? All good news, all bad news is good news kind of thing, or like all, bad news is good advertisement. Yeah. And that ultimately it's, bringing more people on. But in terms of like functionality, I can't wait to see what the ledger is going to be able to do. I have a lot of fears, but literally all the things that I want to create in my mind require people, and they require money. And ultimately, the possibility of us being a disruptor inside of the system, comes from adoption. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty more, but
No, it does. And David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, all of the big players involved in Ripple and the XRP ledger, they all say XRP itself, that is the tool that is going to be used, that all these other things have a potential to use, right? And so there's
I'd
a
like to
couple
add-
more.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sure. No worries.
Like to add that, like in terms of the wandering footprint, one of the things I'm so glad that we have LadyK, and so exciting she's there right now, out with her friend, out with her magical internet friends, our magical internet friends. But she's a broker and she's in real estate, and because of the wandering footprint vision of connecting homesteads and work trade. That's a whole other aspect that requires, a lot more technicalities and validation of things where, maybe, a community could own a DAO of land and have that on the ledger. So there's a lot more possibility with these things too.
Absolutely. Well, and so Ripple didn't just stop at the hidden road and what was the other one, Keda, that you just mentioned?
We were talking about
Evernorth.
Yes.
They also, in August of 2025, they acquired Rail for 200 million, I guess is what I'm reading here. But that was a cross-border payments infrastructure platform. It was founded in 2021. It was Toronto-based, or is Toronto-based. It bolsters stablecoin and RLUSD rails for enterprise remittances. It's ISO 2022 compliant on the XRP ledger. So that is a big one. And then October, this is the one that I was not aware of.
Yeah, this is a big one.
When I read this, when I read the guy's thing, and I started like Luke Chambers' little teaser that he put out there, and I really started diving deeper, and I came across October of 2025 GTreasury, and I'm like, GTreasury, what's this about?
Yeah,
it is a $1 billion treasury management software for Fortune 500 companies. 120 trillion plus of cash handled. It integrates XRP Ledger for AI-driven cash pooling, tokenized assets, and on-demand XRP liquidity. And so apparently quarter 1, 2026 pilots are expected. I think that's a really big deal. And then Opti, you sent me like right before the show, you're like, there's Palisade also. And I wasn't aware of that either. That was just announced
Palisade, because I've never heard of this one.
This is just today. She found it today, November 3rd. It was
Shout out
the
to
announcement.
Stone sent it to me.
Shout out to Stone.
Oh, shout out to Stone.
Do you want to talk about that one, or do you?
No, thank you. I'm too busy building my NFT collection to remember the 5th.
Oh, no worries. So anyway, she sent it to me, 2025, November 3rd, Palisade. I think I'm saying it right. Palisade for those who might think I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, undisclosed crypto wallet and custody firm for fintechs and corporates. It expands real-time custody payments, pushing Ripple's crypto investments past 4 billion total. And I guess it was touted as building the internet of value. And so far, no other ones that were confirmed. Just the Evernorth, which is that back venture. It is not actually a direct acquisition. I guess the Evernorth is not a direct acquisition, but in any event, those were big.
The $1 million just
like so much money. And I remember Brad. I almost said Brad Kimes. Brad Garlinghouse mentioning that when 2025 started, that this was going to be the year for acquisitions. And again, transparency. They've been very transparent about what they're doing. For those with the eyes to see, those that are interested in looking up this kind of stuff, it's all been out there this entire time. Right down to just all the other stuff that they have been involved with and had agreements with and stuff. It is like so big. Darn it. There's like so much stuff to talk about still.
I know.
Let's touch on the folks that are going to be at Ripple Swell.
Okay.
Because there's some real big players.
Yeah.
So you want to start going over those, Keda?
Yeah. So confirmed guest speakers, as we know, we will have Brad Garlinghouse, Monica Long, Chris Larson, Stuart Alderati, Nigel Kaku. And then they also have the guest speakers. And those guest speakers and panelists will be Adena Friedman. She's chair and CEO of Nasdaq. So she's a keynote speaker. And then Carolyn Weinberg, Chief Product and Innovation Officer with BNY Mellon. David Ripley, he is the co-CEO of Kraken. Maxwell Stern, Director of Digital Assets at BlackRock. Ryan Rugg, Global Head of Digital Assets and Treasury and Trade Solutions with Citi. Then Cynthia Bessette, she's the Head Digital Asset Management at Fidelity. Sandy Call, Head of Innovation at Franklin Templeton.
She's my favorite.
I've got an account there.
I love her. I think
I'm
going to tell you guys, these are some powerhouse women.
They are.
If you have ever had a chance, if you haven't, look her up. Sandy, Kaul. She's from Franklin Templeton. Just go ahead and Google her and watch some interviews with her. That woman can explain things so nicely. I would have loved to have gone just to see her speak. So
see, look at her fangirling.
I'm a fangirl about for some Sandy.
Scott Lucas, Head of Markets and Digital Assets with JP Morgan. Giovanni Vicioso, hopefully I said that right. Executive specific role to be determined with CME Group. Then Christian Rao, Senior Vice President of Blockchain, Digital Assets and FinTech Enablement with MasterCard. Hunter Horsley, CEO of Bitwise. Nicola White, VP of Institutional Crypto at Robinhood. CEO Stani Kulichov at Aave. Kim Hochfeld, she's global head of cash, digital, and securities lending. She's with State Street Investment Management. Jose Andres, chef and restaurateur with World Central Kitchen, as well as Patrick Witt, who is a policy advisor for the White House and Independence. Yeah.
And I think that's the first time that they've had somebody from the White House at Swell. I mean, and you did mention Carolyn Weinberg, the Chief Product and Innovation Officer at BNY Mellon, but she also was previously at BlackRock as Chief Product Innovation Officer. And
isn't it interesting how they intermingle so much?
This is the thing. I mean, so she's so guys, if you're listening to all of the different people that have been in this, these are all traditional money management type folks, banking, like the banking, huge people in the banking industry are at Ripple Swell. Okay. And so it does, like, all of these different blockchains that are out there, they have their own purposes, what they're being used for. This should give a clear indication that it aligns with what Ripple has said. They created XRP Ledger and XRP4, the cross-border remittance and all of this, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. Even more so than what I thought. And, I'm not a fan of one blockchain or company ruling it all, right? but dipping your toes into all of this stuff. I mean, they've applied for a banking, was it the banking license, right? That should be coming up soon. And so what does that open up for us? You know, when that sort of stuff comes, and, you know, being able to custody these assets. And I mean, it's just huge, the people that are there. And so you got all these cool people at Swell, and I don't know, it's kind of funny when I think about, like, I'm fangirling over Sandy Call from Franklin Templeton, right? Most people, those are just working, like, nobody fangirls over banking people, right? But this doesn't have to do with about being in banks. My admiration for someone like Sandy Call is that she's been in banking. Franklin Templeton has been a company that embraced digital assets from way early on. And she's very smart. You know, being in banking for a long time, and having the smarts to realize need to educate yourself and teach others, right? And she does it really well. And so I just admire anybody that is out there talking about the future, because, you know, this is not your football player or your actresses or whatever. These are the people that they're going to go down in history as the players of what's going down.
Either. Just to let you know, don't think we're not.
Exactly. We will too. And everybody watching this, we have 127 people. You're all special. You're all watching. You're all educating yourself. You are playing a huge part in this as well. And so, but the majority of the world isn't giving this attention, right? We are. Majority of the world isn't giving it attention, but I do think it's kind of funny that the people, like my heroes or whatever you want to call them, heroes, are just like regular people thinking about things logically and taking the opportunity to make a difference. And that's what I see. I see the world working together on a just a global scale, and I find that very exciting. You know,
well, I definitely wanted to give a shout out to the folks that are in our chat. I swear
are they chatting it up?
I've got some great folks rolling up in the spot. Crypto Tales just rolled up in here. Bullish Bird is here. We did give a shout out to Mr. Stone, who rolled up in the spot. The Real Slim the Boss is here. Texas Guns is here. And then also all of our old homies. I mean, we got Mr. Sam holding down the chat as well. And then we also have Silver Day still in the house, and Corizi, XRP Hustle Hard, and all of the 125 people that are watching us across all of our platforms. So we're super excited about that. Thank y'all for being here for sure. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Keda. So let's move on, because we've got about 10, 12 minutes or so. Basically, all of the stuff that's already happened and continues to happen. Tell me that Ripple's XRP ledger isn't just evolving; it's going to explode in 2026. And so it's going to be really interesting to hear what they talk about. Hopefully, there'll be some lives. I'm not sure if it's going to be streamed live, but there are some developments that I came across for 2026. Some of them, so like I have some details on them that are like they've been announced. Some of them have been officially announced. Some of them have been lightly touched on. So there's 6 of them, and I was just going to run through them. Okay. And so the first one is the confidential multi-purpose tokens. We've been hearing, I think LadyK touched on it, and that
zero proof token.
Yeah. So this is a privacy privacy preserving tokens using ZKPs, which we touched on that in a previous show, the zero knowledge proofs, for confidential collateral and real world assets and DeFi. It enables proving know your customer ownership without revealing the details, and it offers clawback for compliance. And it's built on the MPT standard, which I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what that means, for bonds and structured products and an escrow. Now, the timeline for this is Q1 of 2026. With a 2026 launch, prototyping now with Hidden Road. And so the XRP impact is that it will boost XRP as a settlement and collateral layer, and it will support $2 trillion of tokenized deposits, which should increase demand for on-demand liquidity and FX remittances. So it's in the works. It's in the prototyping phase with those ZKP privacy enhancements that are going to be targeted for the institutional real world asset and DeFi. So it was a partial announcement, which was live this month via the XRP ledger amendments. But the rest of the stuff is more and more for Q1 of 2026. So that I thought was I just starting to learn about what those are, but it sounds really important to me. You know what I mean?
So too. I think it is. I think it's going to be a great thing. And another thing that also came up as well is the native lending protocol expansions, and that would be the XLS 65 and 66. So this is pooled lending via single asset vaults for public gated markets, fixed term loans with on ledger amortization, and it integrates with permission DEX AMM for compliant low fee capital. So this would be, for an example, it'd be like 5 to 8% yields on that. Ooh, right. So the timeline of that, it's looking like its full institutional rollout is going to be Q1 to Q2 of 2026. So we are literally in Q4 right now of 2025 at the start of this month. So this means that we got 2 months before we're in that first quarter of 2026, right? So the impact on XRP is as the bridge, acts as the bridge for collateralized loans, targets 10 billion plus TVL, freeing up 500 billion in trapped balances via real-time sourcing. So currently it's in the works. XLS 65, which is a single asset vaults proposed for pooled gated lending. XLS 66 is for fixed term loans. And so we're seeing that this should probably be in the works late this year. So we're in late this year. I'm just saying. So it was proposed in the XRPL standards repo, GitHub, August 2025, and then a community vote expected Q4 of 2025 for 2026 enablement. Wow.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Swell happen last year at the beginning of November?
Oh,
I don't think so.
I don't remember. I
don't think it did.
I don't know where was it last year? Wasn't it in like Singapore or somewhere?
Yeah.
I think it was not.
Can you look it up? Because I can't leave the page.
As a matter of fact, I sure will.
Because if you don't remember, it was the beginning of November last year that we started seeing movement on the XRP. So for me, I'm like, what announcements are going to be made in the next 48 hours? And, having all our magical internet friends in one place on the 5th is a pretty big deal, in my opinion, in terms of the energy field that's coming together, like you.
Ripple Swell was October 16th of 2024.
Okay, so I'm actually curious when the first real movement was, because I just remember by the time XRP Unleashed was being unleashed, rigged from the start of the SEC's war on crypto.
It was the night of the Tyson fight.
While they were moving cities, XRP was going up. And so I was super curious about, sort of the turn of events when are they typically, because I haven't been following Swell. Like this is the first year that I'm like, I've heard about it, but it was always like that fear level of like, okay, that's like the people that might not be my people. So that's why it's super fun for me to have met Dom and Phil and being part of, the Shark Tank, Easy A Shark Tank. And then, James Rule, he's a cool dude. And then, a few of the other people that are able to go that are cool dudes. So for me, it's like, okay, all of a sudden there's like, I'll pay attention, and especially even being here in this conversation tonight. So time will tell. It's only 48 hours away. But very curious about how this, the ripple effect, essentially, the ripple effect of this conversation and, what sort of gets leaked to the public, quote unquote leaked, and how much impact that will have on speculation. Especially as the people I know are calling me up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm noticing, these trends on used car sales and, on these things. And it looks like we're in the bubble and the bubble's about to pop. And so what happens when the bubble's about to pop? Well, you try to find a place to put your money. And so very curious about sort of the series of events that will push people into this space. It's a year. It's a year since First Ledger dropped. It's a year since the movement on XRP, and it's all very exciting.
It's all very exciting. I want to welcome Le Grand Commission. Thank you for coming to Digital Ladies. They said first time here. Ladies, we've got 7 minutes or so left. I want to go to number 3, which we already kind of touched on, Hidden Road.
Hidden Road, yeah.
But just to touch, it's going to go live in Q1 of 2026. And so again, Hidden Road is a prime brokerage platform. And it is $3 trillion in annual FX and DeFi clearing on XRPL. It's going to be on XRPL. It uses XRP for Fidelity, risk management, and stablecoin rails like RLUSD. The XRP impact is that it's going to drive 100 billion plus month XRP volume. Ooh, that's a lot. 30%.
That seems like
I'm like, wait, I'm all like, I want to like, hopefully somebody doesn't fact check me on that, but that seems like a lot. Holy smokes. 30% FX cost cuts, positioning XRP Ledger as a global liquidity reset for institutions, which I thought that was a very interesting, set of words there. It confirmed and then it's in the works and the acquisition's complete. And so it's going to integrate $3 trillion for clearing on XRP Ledger.
Crazy.
And then again, you mentioned the Evernorth already, the XRP Treasury. That is going to launch early in 2026. RWA
tokenization surge, and that's where it pilots with BlackRock and Ondo for 200 million plus tokenized U.S. Treasuries, bridges to Hedera and Kayo for sovereign funds, uses MPTs plus oracles for programmable yields and ISO 222 compliance.
Can I just say MPTs are multi-purpose tokens, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that we were talking about when those multi-purpose tokens, it can be one, it can start off as one thing and then it's something else, right? So that would be similar to what that LP token is. But
so it's very strange. I just want to throw this out there. Today I was like going through my wallets trying to find a tax on for an NFT collection. And I noticed on my wallet, it says no, whatever you just said, MPTs yet. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. So fascinating that you say that.
I saw that
it
too.
said yet.
Well,
It
it
said
said
yes.
it has the space for it, and then I has
Oh.
0 next to it. So like it's there, it's on the ledger. I see it as like a possibility. So I'm very curious about how that's going to evolve. Anyways, continue on. Sorry, I just thought that was interesting. I noticed it today.
No,
No,
and I did too. I did notice that it did mention multi-purpose tokens. Like I literally was seeing that as I was going through some of the things I have going on in my wallets. I was like, oh, we talked about that. Okay.
Do you have any more to what you were going to say? Because I want to just say something about what you said before.
I was just going to say, so there has been an official announcement. It says, yes, it's proposed in the XRPL standards repo with GitHub in August of 2025. And then, wait. I was talking about something else. I apologize about that.
Oh, no worries.
No, I was just going to say, it does say it's in the works. It pilots with BlackRock and Ondo, 200 million plus treasuries, scaling to 2 trillion.
That's
tokenized deposits in its ISO 222 bridges. So the official, there's been partial announcements. XRPL's RWA framework was announced in September of 2025 with pilots live. Okay. 2026 surge tied to MPT and AMMs, but no firm date yet. So Swell panels to expand. So they'll basically be talking about it at Swell.
Yep. And then finally, before we move on, number 6 was the ZKP privacy ecosystem. So that's the zero knowledge proofs, which broader ZKPs for selective disclosure, proof of reserves, and confidential computation. It integrates with tease to prevent front running in lending and settlement. The timeline, the prototypes are ongoing with full apps slated for Q1 of 2026 and beyond. The XRP impact is that it will enhance institutional trust. It'll reduce the intermediaries, and it'll boost XRP ledgers throughput to 10,000 plus for transactions per second for DeFi and real world assets. And what else? The official announcement was teased in the roadmap. The prototypes are ongoing via community grants. There's no standalone 2026 announcement, but bundled with the multi-purpose tokens for Q1. So, and that was sourced from xrpledger.org. And and before we change the subject, this is what I want to say to guys. We're not experts on this stuff. We're just simply looking up this stuff. We're seeing it, and if we don't understand what it is, we look it up. We're reading about it, and we're trying to educate ourselves as much as we can. And so when it comes to the digital assets and choosing which ones that you want to get into, because the crypto world, there's thousands and thousands of them. These are ones that stick out to us. XRP and the XRP ledger really stick out to us. And things like Ripple Swell and the transparency of everything that's going on, that is something that really sparks my interest and gives me a little bit of assurance that I'm in the right ball field anyway. So Opti, final thoughts.
Really quick. We have 3 minutes, 2 minutes for the song. So 1 minute. I just wanted to say super interesting about the FX because I started my journey with financial stuff, cold calling for foreign currency company. So I'm very curious to see how this all plays out into that sphere. And a shameless plug, if you want to commemorate November 5th, I have an NFT collection being launched called Remember the 5th of November. Right now, if you're part of the Money Grabbers ecosystem, you'll be on the whitelist for that day and for the 5th. And right now, I'm going to try, if you hold 88,888 Blue Umbrella tokens, I'm going to try to get on the whitelist too, if I can accomplish that. And thanks so much for the conversation. Hope you join us on the Afterspace.
Man, speaking of that, I need to drop a link for that. You guys, it's an incredible opportunity. November 5th to be part of this, the Money Grabbers, but to get one of Opti's NFTs is an incredible opportunity to support somebody who's been building on the ledger for how many years now, Opti?
5 years on the blockchain, but I started with
Well,
Stellar.
wait a
So 3 years for XRPL. And also nomads. All nomads will get it on the whitelist, just so you know. Okay. Thank you.
So guys, I am going to post the link in the chat. Please join us on X for our after space. It starts at 10:10. And with that, thank you to the 155 that came this evening. We will see you next week on Digital Ladies Unscripted. Thanks, ladies.
Digital ladies breaking the chain, rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your crypto, know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa, Keda, LadyK, and Opti. Dip-a-toe, come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pay.
Crypto nights, we're lighting a spark. As we ignite now, we're setting the mark.
Safety first, we're keeping